Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is George Halaby of United Press International Movietone Television. We are here tonight to meet the following escapees from the catastrophic ship Lakonia. We will start with Mr. Tim Bangor Jones of 6 Stratford Court, Shakespeare Road, Worthing, Sussex. Mr. Bangor Jones, would you like to tell us your impressions of the unfortunate incident that took place 2 days ago?
Well, I must say that we've all been rather shattered by this experience. We didn't expect anything like this to happen upon a holiday cruise. Some of us have been extraordinarily fortunate to have escaped as we have, and some of us have borne our trials, like a certain friend of ours who isn't present with us tonight, having swum the waters for 10 or more hours to this most wonderful freighter, the Montcalm, which picked us up. And I couldn't speak, and I'm sure none of my friends could speak more highly of the wonderful service and friendship, hospitality, and service they gave us while we were there. They put themselves out. They gave us everything they had. And we have been, I'm sure you'll agree with me, we've all been most wonderfully received and looked after by this wonderful ship.
Mr. Jones, there were reports of laxity on the ship by the crew of the Lakonia regarding rescue, like firefighting, lifeboat handling, and things like that. Would you care to tell us what is your opinion of this?
Well, of course, now you're touching on a very serious aspect of the matter altogether. And of course, I am not prepared to commit myself upon this subject at all.
Would just tell us...
I think that there will be an inquiry in due course. There must be. If I enter into a contract to take a cruise, and I'm landed in the waters, there must be some redress, I think. If I am landed in those waters and I have lost all my property. But at this stage, I think it would be quite wrong for me or anyone else to make any legal assertion with regard to any laxity on the part of the shipping company.
Some pictures taken by some planes overflying the wreckage or the remains of the Lakonia showed that some of those lifeboats had 4 passengers on them, while they could take more.
I couldn't speak as to that, because it so happens that I think we were the second boat to be dropped into the waters, or the third boat possibly. And what happened after that, in regard to the launching of the lifeboats, I cannot speak personally.
Thank you, Mr. Tim Bangor Jones of 6 Stratford Court, Shakespeare Road, Worthing, Sussex. And now we shall be talking to Mrs. Violet Anderson of Highlands, Middlecombe, Minehead, Somerset. Mrs. Anderson, would you care to tell us how the unfortunate incident happened on the ship?
I couldn't tell you how it happened, but I would endorse all Mr. Bangor Jones has said. At this stage, I feel also that I couldn't really comment on the laxity, although I have perhaps quite a few faults myself, personal faults. At this stage, I feel perhaps I can only really follow Mr. Bangor Jones and say, at this stage, I couldn't really say anything to the laxity.
Well, I'm not talking, I mean, how did the fire start on board the ship? At what time would you care to describe to us?
It started about between 11:15 and 11 o'clock. In fact, I was in the cinema And the first we knew, the bells were ringing. The cinema was on and breaking down from time to time. We didn't think it really was a fire bell of emergency. We thought it was something attached to the cinema. But eventually we realised it really was serious, and we went outside. When we were outside, there was quite pandemonium anyway, and there was no direction from anyone at all.
No, and of course you mustn't forget, of course, that one of the barmen said, you may not have been there, but one of the barmen said there's no panic at all.
Yes.
Keep quite calm, there's no trouble at all.
Yes.
Just keep quite calm, and all we're going to do is close the bar.
Yes, quite, which everyone did.
Yes.
And then we were ordered onto the promenade deck, which a lot of people went to. Then we were ordered down to the lower deck, which also a large number of people went down, when they suddenly realised that they were about 2 decks below, and the fire was very, very serious and wasn't under control at all. And then it all came up. At no time did we have any instructions or any orders from any of the crew or anybody attached to the ship at all.
No, and the fire was of such magnitude in such a small space of time,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yes. When I asked if I could go into my cabin to grab some clothes of some sort, my cabin was already under fire.
Yes, and I was refused
Completely.
permission to go and get a
We
light.
couldn't get near it, yes.
No.
Was there any